with a short landing practice. And as always, it's entirely up to you if you would like to keep your eyes open or closed, and also choosing your posture. And for the posture, I always think it's quite useful to remind ourselves that when we choose our posture, it's every time we do that, we're doing it for the first time. And it allows us really to tune in, to sense in if right now in this moment, the posture we've chosen is actually the kindest posture, the most generous posture for us in this moment. Really allowing yourself to land. Notice what's present right now. In the body, in the heart, in the mind. And maybe tuning into the body to allow yourself to really arrive in this moment. Bringing your awareness to your senses. Maybe noticing where your body makes contact with the ground. This could be your feet, maybe your seat. Maybe your back, your neck, back of your head if you're lying down. Could also tune into your hands. See where they make contact. Maybe with your body, maybe with clothing. Or you might tune into your breath. Receiving each in-breath and letting go with each out-breath. And noticing how the ground beneath us is holding us, is receiving us, so we can really let our weight settle. Like the leaves that are currently falling to the ground receiving our weight. in this moment. Right now, nowhere to go, nothing to do. Giving ourselves this time, this pause, as an act of kindness and generosity to ourselves. We notice our mind being busy with planning or thinking or worrying. Maybe we can also extend a sense of generosity to our mind as well. The mind doing what it does best, thinking, planning. And maybe just with kindness, acknowledging and knowing that we always have the option, the opportunity to come back to the present moment through our body, through our breath, through our senses. So we're not suppressing thoughts, we're not getting carried away by it either. Noticing how our body and our breath so generously is always available to us to come back again and again and again into the present moment. And just bringing this short landing practice to a close, giving you the opportunity to again sense in what's called for right now. You might want to have a stretch, maybe change your position, you move or have a drink. So just take a minute to tune in what you need before we start the longer practice. Okay. So for the longer practice, my invitation to you is to explore and connect with the intention to explore kindness and generosity, and to open ourselves to explore the capacity we have to extend kindness and generosity towards ourselves and others, and also to receive kindness, and also our capacity to notice kindness and generosity and what impact it has on ourselves and others. And it's a bit of an analytical practice today as well. So I will be inviting you to maybe recall some memories. And as always, remember that if anything feels overwhelming or too much, you always have the option to come back to the body, to the breath, through the senses, to bring yourself back to the present moment. And to start with, let's take a moment to notice, to sense anything that arises for you in the body, in the heart, or in the mind when you hear the word kindness, or the word generosity. If you were to give those words colors, or maybe just choose one of those, kindness or generosity, what color would you give them? What comes up for you? If you were to touch them, what texture would they have, or maybe what temperature? Do they have a shape or a different size, maybe? And then inviting you to bring to mind a moment, a memory where someone was kind to you and you felt kindness or generosity being extended towards you. Just take a few moments to maybe bring up an image or a memory. Could be something fairly recent or maybe a while ago. Being curious what arises in your body, in your heart, in your mind when you're recalling this memory. Maybe you can recall how you felt at the time. And how does your body, your heart, or your mind respond to this memory right now? Do you notice a change in your facial expression? Maybe a response of your body to this memory? Or you might even experience feelings of resistance or numbness. It can be quite surprising what appears. Did you find it easy to accept this moment, this act of kindness, this gesture of generosity? And remembering that invitation is to simply notice, to let unfold whatever unfolds when you bring up a moment when somebody was kind to you, generous to you. And then letting go of this memory and bringing our attention back to the body. So the mind can get carried away into stories, into thinking. So just for a moment, bringing your attention back into the present moment. Maybe to the feet, the hands, the body, the breath, whatever place you choose. Maybe noticing any lingering of energies from recalling this memory. And then inviting your attention now to recall a moment, bring to mind a memory where you were being kind to someone else, where you extended an act of generosity to someone else. So taking a moment to allow a situation like this, a memory like this to arise. It may not have even occurred to you that you were being kind or generous in this moment. It might almost have seemed insignificant to you until maybe the other person told you that what you did, what you said, or even what you didn't do or what you didn't say felt like an act of kindness or generosity. These gestures can be so tiny and to us seemingly insignificant, and yet might be such a precious gift to another. And remembering if the mind goes into thinking or analyzing, then allow yourself to ground again through the body and the breath. And then bringing your attention back to allowing yourself to notice what comes up for you in the body and the heart and the mind when you are recalling a memory of being kind, extending kindness or generosity toward another. And then gently letting go of this memory and regrounding yourself through the sensations and the body, bringing yourself back to right here, right now. And this time, noticing, seeing if you can maybe bring up a moment where you noticed somebody being kind to another. So you were witnessing, observing kindness being extended, generosity being extended. And what arises for you when you recall this memory? And if you don't have any memories or you can't recall any moments like that, that's fine. Maybe just imagine, what would it be like for me? Noticing, seeing somebody being kind to another person, or maybe an animal or another living being. Where maybe you don't have an active part as such. Simply noticing, observing. What's that like? even maybe recalling a moment when you noticed someone being kind to themselves, extending kindness or generosity towards themselves. How did that make you feel? What comes up for you if you are able to recall a moment like that? And then gently letting go of this memory as well, tuning again into your feet, your hands, your breath, your body. And then for the final part of this practice, the invitation now is to recall a moment where you were being kind to yourself. You were extending kindness or generosity towards yourself. This might have been a soothing gesture, maybe some kind words, maybe allowing yourself some rest. Were you aware that you were extending kindness or generosity towards yourself in this moment? What arises for you right now, recalling this moment? And then letting go of any specific focus on memories and allowing your attention to fully rest back in the body, the space surrounding you. Maybe your feet on the floor, Hands on your lap. Breath faithfully coming in and out of the body. And as we bring this practice to a close, also really allow yourself to notice what has arisen for you overall in this practice. Were there any surprises? And what's the flavor this practice is leaving behind for you? How did it feel to spend some time to explore this rich tapestry of kindness and generosity? Maybe also acknowledging, congratulating yourself for setting aside this time to pause. As an act of kindness and generosity towards yourself and maybe those that your lives are touching. And in your own time, you may want to start gently moving your body or not. You might want to gently open your eyes if they were closed. And I'm just going to read you a short passage of one of my favorite books. And it really struck me how fitting it seemed to be in the connection of kindness and generosity. And it's a word I'd never heard before. That's called shul. And I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And in the book, it was mentioned in the connection with emptiness. And emptiness being the track on which the centered person moves. And in this context, the word shul was used to describe the track, or also defined as an impression, a mark that remains after that which made it has passed by. And the example that's given is like a footprint. And what I especially liked, the indentation in the grass where an animal slept last night, where maybe the warmth of that animal that's not there anymore is still lingering. And for me, another example would be maybe a pleasant scent that's lingering when somebody's passed. And although you don't see the person anymore, you can still feel that or notice, smell that lingering scent. And although it was in the context of emptiness, I felt it was a beautiful description of leaving something behind, that everything, every act of kindness, every act of generosity can potentially leave behind this imprint of warmth. And another quote from the book where it describes a path is a shul because it is an impression in the ground left by the regular tread of feet, which has kept it clear of obstructions and maintained it for the use of others. It grants an invitation of the invisible point to which the lines of our life converge, assuring us that we are not alone, implying indebtedness to those who have trodden this path before, and responsibility to those who will follow. And those passages were from the book Buddhism Without Beliefs by Stephen Batchelor, which is one of my favorite little books that I come back to over and over again. And I'm very conscious I've taken this out of the context of emptiness. So if you're interested in reading it, then please do. But I felt it was very, for me personally, quite fitting in that context, in that notion with kindness and generosity. So thank you very much for joining me for this practice.